Hello children, I'm back again. So in our last class, you might have already understood about this chapter 1, that is on India, its size and location. Today we will be doing about the chapter 2, that is on the physical features of India. If you look into the map, children, what you will find out, there are various type of landforms that are found in our country called to be India. Everybody knows that our country is a vast country, and in our country, that is in India, we have got several type of physical features. These physical features are also known as relief features. You know what is the meaning of the relief or the physical features? These are natural features. And these features you can call mountains, plateaus, rivers, valleys, deserts, what not. Those are our physical features. If you look at the map of India, you can find out in the north we have got Himalayas, in the center you will get the Peninsula Plateau. So several type of features are found in India. So definitely one question must be coming to you, like how are these formed? How these rivers, mountain, plateau are being formed? These landforms are made up of different type of rocks. Rocks such as igneous, metamorphic and sedimentary. So the question arises, how such a big landform has been formed? There are various theories that tells us about the landforms or various features like that physical features of India. If I ask you one more thing, like you might have seen the soils are of different colors, right? If you go to Maharashtra, what type of soil will be finding over there? It may be a black soil, so also a red soil. That shows the soils also vary from one place to the other, the way the rocks vary from one place to the other. So the point comes here, the question arises here, like what are the processes that have formed these landforms? It is said that due to the difference in your geological evidences, because of the geological processes, what happened, these landforms have been formed in different phases of time. Similarly, other processes like your weathering, erosion, deposition also contribute to form different type of landforms. Various scientists, they have attempted to explain about the formation of this landform. According to them, the theory of plate tectonics, right? The theory of plate tectonics is giving us the evidence of the formation of the various landforms. According to this theory, the theory that is the theory of plate tectonic, our crust, the upper part of the land surface, is mainly made out of 7 major plates and some minor plates. Some of the plates like Eurasian plate, your American plate, Australian plate, African plate, Pacific plate. So those are the major plates that they have formed the crust part of our landform. Coming to the next one, due to this tectonic movement of this plate, it has resulted into different other forms like folding, faulting and volcanic activity. Coming to this first one, that is folding. How does it happen? What is caused due to this folding? When two plates, they move towards each other, they form convergent boundary, and that results to the formation of mountains. Whereas the second one, that is called to be the faulting one, due to this, when two plates they move away from each other, that results in faulting, which results in block mountain. The third one about this volcanic activity, when two plates they collide or they move one upon the other, that time they form some kind of activity that is none other than called with the volcanic activity. So that results to form different type of landforms in India. You know children, one more theory which tells us about long ago, like million and million years ago, our entire earth was called to be a supercontinent, which is known to be Pangaea. And this Pangaea has got two parts. The part which was lying to the southern part is called to be Gondwana land, right? The part which lies to the south was called to be the Gondwana land. And this Gondwana land was having the continent called to be Australia, Africa, South America and some parts of India. That is the peninsular part of India. Due to the convection currents, Again I repeat, due to the convection currents, all this continent, they split from their original place and they started moving towards north. You know children, Gondwana land is a part of the Pangaea. What is Pangaea? Pangaea was a supercontinent that existed during the late Paleozoic and early Mesozoic eras. It assembled from earlier continental units approximately 335 million years ago, and it began to break apart about 175 million years ago. Scientists believe that Pangaea broke apart for the same reason that the plates are moving today. The movement is caused by the convection currents that roll over in the upper zone of the mantle. About 200 million years ago, Pangaea broke into two new continents. One is the Laurasia and the other one is the Gondwana land. And in this Gondwana land, children, your country called India is situated. In that process, our India started moving towards northern area, northern hemisphere, northern part, by resulting into forming a great landmass that is called Indian subcontinent. And when this Gondwana land got collided with the Eurasian plate, the sea called with Tethys, which once existed long years ago, it got submerged, and in this place raised the mountain Himalayas, right? And when this Himalayas mountain was raised in this place called to be the Tethys, which was a shallow sea, it got submerged and Himalaya came out, and from this Himalaya that your sedimentary, all the sedimentary rocks got started getting into the big depression which was formed to the southern part of Himalayas, got filled up with the sedimentary rocks and so also with the alluvial soils, resulting it into the great northern plains of India. So this is the history behind how your Himalayas, so also your northern plains have been formed. So coming to know more physical features of India, let us study about the natural physical features of India. Let me ask a question to you all. Can anyone tell me the major physical features of India? Right, let me tell you the major physical features of India. India's physical features are divided into 6 numbers. Number 1, the Himalayas in the north, followed by the northern plains. Third one, it is your peninsular plateau, the Deccan plateau. And the fourth one is your Indian desert. And fifth one, the coastal plains. And the last but not the least, that is called the islands, right? So these are the major physical divisions of India. Let us start the very first unit of under this physical division of India, that is none other than the Himalayas. Okay children, while studying about the northern mountains, when you study about the Himalayas, you might be having a lot of questions in your mind, right? The questions may be, how old are the Himalayas? Where are the Himalayas? Where do Himalayas start and end? Who lives on the Himalayas? Or are Himalayas growing? Let me answer few of the questions. If you ask, are the Himalayas growing? The answer is yes. The Himalayas are continuously growing. The Himalayas continue to rise more than 1 centimeter a year, a growth rate of 10 kilometer in a million years. If that is so, why aren't the Himalayas even higher? The scientists believe that the Eurasian plate may now be stretching out rather than thrusting up, and such stretching would result in some subsidence due to gravity. If you ask me, how old are the Himalayas? It is about 50 million years. The Himalayas are about 50 million years old. This means that they are one of the world's youngest mountain ranges. These mountains, of which Everest is a part, are still growing as the Earth's continents move, pushing India further north and the Himalayas even higher. Can anyone again tell me what is the meaning of Himalayas? Abode of snow, house of snow, the storehouse of snow. So that is why we call it the Great Himalayas. And this Himalaya lies in the extreme northern part of India, making a boundary between India and China. So you can call it a natural guard for our country, a natural wall for our country. You know, children, what is the distance of Himalaya? It covers a distance about 2,400 kilometers, and its width varies between 400 kilometers to that of your 150 kilometers. That means at Kashmir it is 400 kilometers, whereas at Arunachal Pradesh it is 150 kilometers. And there is an altitudinal variation all over the Himalayas. Himalaya is divided into three ranges. Number one is Himadri, that is inner Himalaya. Second one is Himachal, and the last one is your Shivalik, that is outer Himalaya. Coming to Himadri, this range, this Himadri is mostly having all the highest peaks of the mountain. You must be knowing which is the highest peak of the world. That highest peak lies in this Himalaya, that is Himadri. It is Mount Everest. Leaving Mount Everest, we have got many other highest peak. That is your Kanchenjunga, Dhauldhar, Annapurna, and many more. So Himadri is the storehouse of snow, and it is perennial, it is covered with snow. Next, let's move to the second range of the Himalayas, that is the Himachal. In this range, it is called to be the Lesser Himalaya also. And this range is mainly composed of your highly compressed and altered rocks. And the altitude that varies in between 3,700 meter and 4,500 meter. And the average width of this Himachal is about 50 kilometer. Here you can find out number of ranges. Out of all, the most important range is your Pir Panjal range. Apart from your Pir Panjal range, you can also come to know some other ranges which are also very important. One is Dhauldhar, the other one is your Mahabharat range. And this area, this your Himachal is famous for number of hill stations. Kashmir Valley, then you got your Kangra Valley, your Kullu Valley. This Kangra and Kullu, they are found in Himachal Pradesh, whereas Kashmir Valley lies in Jammu and Kashmir. So this place, your Himachal, is famous for mostly the hill stations. As you all know, children, this Himachal range is also called the Lesser Himalaya. It is a major east-west mountain range with elevations 3,700 to 4,500 meter. It lies along the crest, paralleling the much higher High Himalayas range from the Indus in Pakistan across northern India, Nepal, Sikkim and Bhutan. But then these two ranges become increasingly difficult to differentiate east of Bhutan as the ranges approach the Brahmaputra river. The Himachal range also parallels the lower Shivalik, or which is also known as Churiya range, that is outer Himalaya to the south. You know, children, the Pir Panjal is the largest range of the Lesser Himalaya. The southern slope of this Himachal range are very steep and nearly uninhabited due to a major fault system called the main boundary thrust. The crest and the northern slopes slope gently enough to support upland pastures and terraced fields. Nepal's densely populated middle hills begin along the crest, extending north through lower valleys and other hills until population thins out above 2,000 meter, and the cereal-based agriculture increasingly gives way to seasonal herding and cold-tolerant crops such as potatoes. The most ethnic groups found along this Himachal range and northward into the middle hills have Tibeto-Burman affinities, including Nepalese origin of Newar, Magar, Gurung, Tamang, Rai and Limbu. However, the most popular populous ethnic group is Indo-European Hindus called Paharis, mainly of the upper Brahmin and Kshatriya or Kshetri castes. Lower terrain south of the escarpment was historically malarial and inhabited by apparently aboriginal peoples with evolved immunity, notably the Tharu and Maithili people. One more important fact about this Himachal range is it's an important hydrographic barrier crossed by relatively few rivers. Drainage systems have evolved with the configurations with numerous tributaries flowing south from the Himalaya through the middle hills, gathering immediately north of the Himachal range and cutting through the major gorges as the Karnali in the west, Gandaki or Narayani in central Nepal and the Kosi in the east. With temperatures persisting around 40 degrees Celsius in the plains of India from April until the onset of the summer monsoon in June, but 10 to 15 degrees cooler atop the Himachal range. Hill stations were developed as alternate capitals and resorts for the hot season by India's Mughal and the British ruler. You know children, when it is very hot during the summer monsoon during the month of June, but if you go to Himachal during that time, the temperature remains within 10 to 15 degrees. And here the hill stations are mostly been developed. These are developed by the Mughals, by the British rulers. And these hill stations in Nepal and Bhutan, they became the capital cities, are high enough to avoid extreme heat. And you know children, these hill stations, mostly in Nepal, Bhutan, they became the capital cities just to avoid high temperature, extreme temperature during the summer season. Coming to the outermost Himalayas, the outermost part of the Himalaya range, that is called to be the Shivalik. And this extends over a width of 10 to 50 kilometer. And it has got lot of altitude variation that varies between 900 to 1100 meters. And this range mostly composed of children lot of unconsolidated sediments which are brought down by the various rivers from the main part of your Himalayas. And here you'll find a lot of valleys, and these valleys are mostly covered with thick alluvium. And here you'll be finding some of the important dunes. You might have heard about Dehradun. So here is the place where you'll find a lot of dunes like Dehradun, Kotli Dun, Patli Dun, and this place is also famous for a hill station. Now let's divide this Himalayan range in a longitudinal basis. If you divide the Himalayas under the longitudinal division, we can divide into 4 different Himalayas. There are number 1, the Punjab Himalaya. The second one is your Kumaon Himalaya. The third one is known as the Nepal Himalaya, and the last one is known as Assam Himalaya. How to mark these Himalayas? How to know the existence of these Himalayas? It can be known by seeing the division of this Himalaya in between the rivers. Taking the number 1, that is your Punjab Himalaya, it lies in between the river Indus and Satluj. Moving to the next one, that is your Kumaon Himalaya, it lies in between Satluj and river Kali. And the Nepal Himalayas, it lies in between river Kali and Tista. And the last one, Assam Himalayas, it lies in between river Tista and river Dihang. So this is the 4 division of the Himalayas, that is on the basis of its longitudinal extension. So this is all about the very first major physical division of India, that is the Himalayas. Coming to the last part of this Himalayan range or the mountain and hill system, let us find out what lies in the extreme eastern part of our country. The Brahmaputra river is the easternmost extension of the Himalayas mountain. After this, at the gorge called with Dihang Gorge, this Himalaya has taken a sharp turn and moved towards south. It is turned towards south, and this extension is called to be the Purvanchal, right? This extension is known as to be the Purvanchal, which is mostly consist of number of hills and mountains, and these hills that they run from northeastern part of our country, most importantly in the northeastern states of our country, and these are mostly consist of the sandstones and which are of mostly sedimentary rocks. And this hills and the mountains are covered with dense forests. This Purvanchal is marked with number of hills, those they run more or less parallel to one another. They are Patkai Hills, Naga Hills, Mizo Hills and Manipur Hills. Let us know something more about the Purvanchal range, which is otherwise called the Eastern Mountain. This mountain is a sub-mountain range of the Himalayas in the northeastern part of India. It lies south of the Brahmaputra Valley. This Purvanchal range or the Eastern Mountains are a sub-mountain range of the Himalaya, covering an area about 94,800 kilometers with a population of over 4 million incorporates Nagaland, Manipur, Tripura and Mizoram hills and Chachar districts along with a fifth of half-long Tehsil of Assam state and the district of Tripa, part of Lohit in Arunachal Pradesh. This Purvanchal, as the name itself suggests, it is the eastern frontier region of India, being surrounded by Bangladesh in the southwest, Myanmar in the southeast and China in the northeast. Its northwestern limit for a major part follows the boundaries of Meghalaya and the Mikir Hill region, Assam Valley, the eastern Himalaya and the plain areas of Tripura and the Kachar are the continuation of the Surma Valley. You know children, this range is an eastern extension of the Himalayan range system. It bends sharply to the south beyond Dihang River gorge and spreads along the eastern boundary of India with Myanmar. The Purvanchal range includes the hill ranges of the Patkai, Bareil range, Naga hills, Lushai hills and Jampu hills. So children, today we have come to the end of the first session of this chapter Physical Features of India till the Himalayas. I hope you might have understood the things that was taught today. Let me ask you a few questions. Can you tell me which is the highest peak in the world? Yes, that is your Mount Everest. And the height of Mount Everest is 8,848 meters above the sea level. Let me try another question. What do you mean by Pangaea? Pangaea is none other than called to be the supercontinent. Another question. When a land is bounded by water in its three sides, what is it known as? Yes, that is called to be a peninsula. Today's last question. Can you tell me in which part of India lies the Purvanchal? Yes, it lies in the northeastern or extreme eastern part of our country. That lies your Purvanchal. So children, what you have learned today? Let me brief it once again what was been taught today. Number one, we came to know about the physical features of India and how are they formed and what processes they have been formed. We discussed about the land which has been situated in a place called to be Gondwana land, how it's got pushed towards the north and collided with your Eurasian plate, developing the mountain called to be the Himalayas. Then we came to know about the formation of northern plains also. Then we have studied about, most importantly, the physical division of India. The number one was none other than the Himalayas. Its position, its location and its distribution, like it has been divided into how many ranges, like Himadri, Himachal and Sivalik. Okay. So next class, be ready. We'll start the next important physical division of India, that is the northern plains. Thank you. Take care. Stay well.